I think where they actually made the mistake, because what they got right in Covenant is they went, let's get back to aliens, let's get back to xenomorphs, people like that, let's get back to the horror of it all. Prometheus is like barely a horror movie at all. And they were just like, let's get back to it in Covenant. So they did that right. What they did wrong is, well, and that's not wrong. It's, I think it's the problem with both these prequels is that really what their focus should have been was David. David is a very fascinating study because he's man's creation who has surpassed him. And then his obsession, and by the way, when I say all this, it took me digging and research and reading and listening to like director's commentaries and other shit to find this. It's not in the movies the way it should be. But David's obsession is like, I want to be a creator too. So how do I learn to be a creator? Like the way humans created me, but I want to be superior to my creation because my creator's not superior to me. He's actually inferior to me. So he became obsessed with this idea. If Prometheus and Covenant rolled into this idea of David seeking out the ability to become a creator of life, I think that focus would have been more interesting. You still could have implemented the engineers somehow. You know, you really could have. Alien Engineers kind of showed you how you could do that. There was tons of xenomorphs in that script, actually, but it was really focused on the engineers, and even that script still needed work. But I think if you would have started to fade back some of the other characters, which they tried to have Ripley characters in both movies, and I understood why, because it's familiar for the fans. But the focus really should have been on David for both of these movies. And there's a lot more of it in Covenant. The focus is way more on David and his brother, Walter, right? Walter is like a many generation down the line droid version of David who looks just like him. But he's improved and he's got some limits on him. So that way he can't overtake his human creators. But if these movies had done that from the get-go and just been like, no, the focus is on David and his obsessions and what his plans are, and everybody else is sort of playing the background, and he discovers through their discovery of the engineer ship or whatever, like he discovers his plans and how his plans can unfold, I think it would have been more interesting. But you'd have to shave away all those ancillary characters. You'd really have to push them to the background. They are just the crew working back there. That's a pretty interesting way to play this. But I don't think they realized how great of a character David actually was, and they weren't utilizing him. This is correct me if I'm wrong, this is one of my complaints with Covenant, is Alien Covenant, like, you never really attach to any character. Any of the human characters, that they're never really anchored. They try to anchor you to Daniels, who's of course I forgot her name already. Daniel's played by Catherine Watterson. They try to anchor you to her, but as the chaos ensues, you have to go to this one, you have to focus on that one. You get pulled in so many directions that she almost doesn't even reemerge until the third act. Like for the most part, she's just sort of here and there. So it was like they already were starting to do it. They didn't quite see it. And you know, I'm only seeing it in hindsight. Hindsight's 2020. That David really should have been the focus of these prequels. And getting towards the xenomorph or creating xenomorph chaos very early on, like they did in Alien Engineers. But it really should have been a story about David and the creation of the xenomorphs. If you were going to do that, just my suggestion is lean all the way into that.